Good morning and welcome on this bright but quite chilly Friday morning here in the UK. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and it's lovely to come on and join you to do a bit of crafting. I'm a little bit later than I planned. Been doing a bit of nursemaiding with the dog. Does she want to go out? Doesn't she want to go out? Yeah, still slowly. She had an op on Tuesday, so she's still a post-op. She's still a recovering patient, so looking after her and pampering her a little bit. But here we are now to do some crafting. That's not to say she might not come and join us and feel sorry for herself at some point. Who knows? We will see. But I thought today we'd have a little look at the Perennial Lavender Suite. I haven't played with it yet, so this will be you joining me as I dig into the beautiful things that are a part of this suite. But before that, let me just introduce myself a little bit more. This is my website, Love-a-Duckie.co.uk, and that's where you'll find all my blog posts and links to shops and links to downloads, information about classes, all sorts of things over on my website. While you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. And also, if you're looking for me anywhere on social media, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, what have I missed? Pinterest. You can find me if you look out for Love-a-Duckie. So do go and find me in any of those places. We've got some classes that are coming up, always classes on the go. So most of my classes are held here in um, held at Great Dodgington, which is not very far from where I am here in Wellingborough in Northamptonshire. So if you're able to come and join me in person, you'd be more than welcome. Let's have a little look at some of the things that are coming up. I'm going to flip back. I'm flicking backwards and forwards between slides. Hold on to your hat. Let's come to this slide first. The next Saturday Stampers. So my next class coming up is my next Saturday Stampers all-day event when we're going to be loving spring and looking at some spring-based projects. I'm going to be creating some beautiful things, hopefully. So that isn't saying all day, 10 till 3. And I will have created 10 projects for which you'll have instructions. You'll have a kit of product to play with. And you can choose, it's a bit of a card buffet. You can choose what of those projects you create, how many of those projects you create using the kit that you've been given. So that's coming up on the first Saturday in February, which is February the 3rd. Perennial Lavender Suite that we're playing today is going to be the feature of our next monthly card club, and that is happening live on the 8th of February. You can message me and we can do these in by post as well if you'd like the kits to come to you by post. So for the monthly card clubs, you get a kit of product. Normally it's about half a pack of paper and some embellishments and some ribbon and the card stocks you need to create the 5 cards that I will have designed for the monthly card club. So you can come along, create 5 beautiful cards using this fabulous suite and have kits to take home, more left to take home and to continue to play with. So it's a lovely class. So if you'd like to join me in that, do reach out. Our technique class for February is going to be using the Hooray for Surprises bundle, and we're going to be making some tab class cards. So looking forward to that one later on in February, on the 16th of February. Our stamper stack for February is going to be using the Trusty Tools bundle, and there are some papers that go with this in the celebration catalogue, so they may sneak in as well. So that is making 6 cards, 2 each of 3 different designs, and that's happening on the 22nd of February. And then we have March's Saturday Stampers showing there as well. That will be on the 2nd of March, and that is titled Yum Yum. We're going to be using creating a selection of cards with sort of food drink as their general theme of the products we're using, not necessarily of the cards. We're not going to have a food related card sentiment theme necessarily, but just creating cards for different occasions using sort of food and drink related bundles and things from current catalogues. And the other thing that we've got coming up is Stamp Camp, and that is happening in February from the, I think it's the 11th. I don't think it says on there, but over that weekend. And for Stamp Camp, you order the list of products, and in return, you will get 26 different ideas of things to do with your products that you've ordered. So that is using things from the Nature's Sweetness suite. It's not the entire suite because that's a mega suite that has 2 bundles in it. We're just using the Notes of Nature bundle, plus the papers and the embellishments and the ribbon, which is what you'd need to purchase in order to take part in that Stamp Camp. If you have already purchased those things and would still like to take part in the Stamp Camp, you can buy products of a equivalent value and still be added in. But obviously you will need those products in order to do all the projects that are brought to you by the 13 different demonstrators from around the world. So always great value, the Stamp Camps, always good fun, always lots of inspiration, tips and things to enjoy for that Stamp Camp, which happens over a weekend. So you'll get a tutorial bundle, you'll get some makes and takes, you'll get all of those that you can do outside of the weekend, and then on the over the weekend there will be 13 lives going into an exclusive Facebook page, as well as challenges and all those sorts of things. So always good fun. Do come and join us for that. And obviously we are in celebration. So there are 2 starter kit offers during celebration this year. One is to get this fabulous glass mat with the silicone palette that comes with it and the cleaning cloth, a fabulous bundle that is worth £56, and you'll get that for free on top of the standard £130 worth of products that you get to choose just for £99. So during celebration, you get all that glass mat and things as extra. If you don't want the glass mat, you can choose to have an additional £30 worth of product in your starter kit. So you pay £99 and you get £160 worth of product in your starter kit. So both brilliant offers and both really good reasons why you'd want to join the family. So if you want to know any more about that, then do reach out to me. There are no expectations. There are only opportunities when you become a member of the Stamping Up family. So yeah, I'd love to chat to you about that. I think that's the end of the news flash. Let's bring in our downward facing camera and let's have a little look at what I have got on my desk. So the Perennial Lavender suite is in the mini catalogue, pages 22 and 23. And I'll go through all of these products in a minute, the ones that I've got. You've got papers, you've got a stamp and die, 2 stamp and die bundles, you've got some pretty embellishments that go with it. Let's have a little look at the samples. Let's see what you can do with this beautiful suite. So then you can see some of stamped and die cut, these great postage labels with their sort of stamp-like outer edges, gorgeous papers. Flick the paper and page over and you get to see the 2 bundles in a bit more detail and more samples. Just beautiful, beautiful colours. Sort of building up of all these floral images, and that's not the only samples. If we flick back here, we've got our on the bundle index at the back, you've got this little sample just here, slightly different, more greens and lost lagoons, so going away from those purples a little bit. And then if we flick the page over, these are using those dies, and that's really lovely, just using up scraps of paper to build up this sort of layered card that has nothing to do with lavender at all. So a really great suite of products. So let's have a look. I've got the papers in front of me at the moment. Let's see if I can lift that up a little bit so you get a bit more of the sort of whole sheet. So 12 by 12 papers. This one is just like beautiful. Just want to put that in a frame, don't you? Don't need to do much else with that. On the back, you've got these sort of sprigs on a neutrally background, which make great backgrounds for your projects. You've got this lovely sort of, it's almost blobby, isn't it, in the background there, but just a sort of watercolour sort of effect. These blooms on the front. It's lovely paper, isn't it? A lovely colour. Same one. Oh, here we have some cow parsley in the meadow. That's very sort of vintagey, isn't it? Very Diary of an Edwardian Lady. Sort of, yeah, with all the little butterflies, really pretty. And a pretty peacock paper there, isn't that stunning? With just that sort of background print. You've got this one here that's got the two flourishes in the two corners, make again a fabulous scrapbook page. You know, a lot of the work is already done there for you on that paper. Turn it over, we've got this sort of gingham effect, but with the splatters on. More little lavender on that neutrally background there. Ooh, how scrummy is that? What gorgeous colour. And again, just sort of that detail in the background, not overpowering the paper. It's really pretty, isn't it? How gorgeous is that? And then the back to this is just this sort of all over foliage. Just beautiful papers. Beautiful, beautiful papers. Let's pop those to one side. And we can draw on those if we want to. As I say, 2 stamp sets, 2 dies. This is the one that has the flower images on it. And you can build these up. You've got different stems, you've got different flowers that you can add to your stems, and you could extend these, add these to these stems. You've got this meadow here, and you could add some of these flowers in. You can add these flowers to that stem just there. So lots of different sort of floral images, as well as these sort of almost grass-like, isn't it, that one? So lots of images on there you can use to build up bouquets and pictures and all sorts of things. So really lovely. Dies to go with it. As you'd expect, you've got dies that are going to cut out some of these images. There's your lavender one. There's this floral one just here. This is this lavender just here. You can cut out your stems just there, or this stem just here. This will cut out these flowers. These will cut out your butterflies. That one is obviously just a... Does it cut out some of the flowers on there? Or is it just flowers as they stand on their own? Oh, I think it will. We'll have to have a play with that if we've stamped. You've got some stems here that are just free sort of standing, and this one here, actually those flowers may be very similar to those flowers. But yes, so a variety of dies just there that we've yet to explore. Oh, it's just 2 of those, isn't it? Oh, Helen, get a grip. You've got 2 of those. So if you stamp more than one of those, you've got 2 dies to cut it out. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's been a very long week. And here's that other die. There we go. So that's those. That's that stamp set and those dies. Do come on and say hello if you're joining us live. And then the other die set that we've got is this gorgeous one here that is the Perennial Postage dies. And you have a whole series of these dies that look like stamps in various sort of squares rectangles. You've also got dies that will enable you to create labels from them. And you've got this little circular die just here with a little dot just there. So you better build up labels and things. And then you've got your postage mark here, which has got, so you can pick that up, it's got a butterfly in the middle of it. So that will give you your postage sort of effect on your letter type cards that you've created with these postage dies. So a great standalone die set, beautiful to use alongside all the lavenders, but you can use this alongside so many more things. This definitely isn't just a die set that you're going to use with this suite, and the stamp set that goes with it is also not just a stamp set you're going to use with this suite, because it is a sentiment one. So here for you always, thank you for your friendship, your love beyond measure, you're simply marvelous, big hugs, I can't thank you enough, I know you'll get through this, sending love and best wishes, happy Mother's Day, you mean the world to me. So some great sentiments there that you can use in conjunction with your postage labels, or freestanding. Lots of reasons why you're going to want to use that sentiment set, lots of reasons why you're going to want to use those postage dies. Now I've grabbed out here the colours that are listed on the back of the paper pack, so we might be using some of the Stampin' Right markers as we go along, but I thought that's quite a nice way of showing you the colours that are listed there, sort of in one go. So you've got some Blackberry Bliss, some Berry Burst, some fresh freesia, some gorgeous grape, some Highland Heather, Lost Lagoon. This one is Orchid Oasis. We've got Pretty Peacock, we've got Shaded Spruce, and we've got some Starry Sky. So those purples and those blues and those lovely greens that are in there as well. So yeah, a really lovely colour palette. Of course, you don't have to stick with this colour palette. You do not have to use the colours that are in the papers. You can feel free to use whatever colours you like along with this suite, but I did think I would grab those out. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to grab actually a deckled circle, and let's go. Let's go this one, I think. No, I think we will come down. So I'm just looking on a card base, that one, I think. May even come down again. It's nothing like indecision, is there? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the 9th one down. If you start at the outside, it's number 9. I've got just there. And let's take some. Let's go Gorgeous Grape for a card base. Let's come down for some Highland Heather, the next lay down. Look on this way. I think we'll make a tent fold card. So I'm going to cut this at 10.5 centimetres. So whatever half of your cardstock is across its width. So with letter size cardstock, that would be 4.25. Then I'm going to score it just under 14.9. That would be 5.5 if you were using 5.5 inches if you were using letter size cardstock. Pop my heater on. I thought I was going to be warm enough, but it's actually starting to feel a bit chilly. There's our card base. I'm going to take some Highland Heather and I'm going to make a neck size down mat. Let's go 14.4 by 10. sit on there. Grab the paper and decide what pattern I want. I might go the gingham. Decisions. I don't think I want to go purple. Yeah, I might go that one. So let's cut this one down to our next size mat, which will be, I cut a strip that is 9.5 and then swing it round. Cut a strip is 13.9. Like that. I'm going to cut a hole in there. I'm actually going to take the circle that is let's just go one size bigger. No, we won't. We will go 2 sizes bigger. Nothing like some indecision, is it? Let's go the one that's 2 sizes bigger. So I am going to start with look at that beautiful paper on the back there. But for now, we're hiding that bit. And then I'm going to take this small circle and I'm going to cut an aperture in the middle of that card front. And I'm going to cut myself a piece of a basic white circle on that bit. Will that fit on there? Yes, it will. Let me just run those through my machine. I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss just sitting behind me. There we go. Now I've just run that through once through the machine. Is it enough to die cut that? Yes, it is. And there we have another circle that we can use for a different project somewhere. There we have a circle of white. Could have just done a rectangle of white to go in the back, but it might help focus the stamping a little bit. So we've got our aperture in the front there. We're going to do some stamping on the basic white, and we've got this bit that we're going to be able to use for a different project somewhere. So let's pop our deckled circles. Don't even know my shapes this morning. Let's pop our deckled circles back on there so we don't lose them. Let's bring in our canvas just here, and our stamps. I'm going to start with this grassy stamp just here. And I think some Lost Lagoon ink. Let's ink that up. Might come in with perhaps a bit of shaded spruce. Just use this pen. And add in a bit of shaded spruce onto there just to alter the colours a little bit. I'm going to bring it right down to the bottom because we're not going to see that. Let's bring it up a little bit. And let's come in again. Just add in some shaded spruce to that Lost Lagoon. I might pick up this little tiny, sort of funny little, very strange sort of looking image. And I think I'm going to go Highland Heather. I'm going to sort of add in a bit of Highland Heather sort of blobs on the background there. There we have like some grasses. Let's go fresh freesia, I think. Pick some fresh freesia up on this blending brush. Just add a bit of colour to the back there. Don't really want to go blue necessarily. We'll stick with the purpley colours. So just a little bit of background colour just there. And that will sit behind there like that. Let's take a bit more basic white. we'll have some stems. Just these have not come off the sheet yet, so ease that gently off the plastic sheet for the first time. Let's come in with some Highland Heather. And then pick up a bit of gorgeous grape. Just add in gorgeous grape on there. We'll stamp that one. Pop that to one side. Then we'll take this one just here. No, I won't. I'm going to use this one again. I think this time I'm going to ink it up in fresh freesia. I haven't necessarily cleaned that stamp up. It's just a little bit of ink left on it, not much. And this time let's come in with the Highland Heather. And let's add some Highland Heather in there. So we've got Highland Heather going into gorgeous grape and fresh freesia going into Highland Heather just there. So we'll cut those out with our coordinating dies when we find them. So find our right die, that one and that one. Now we've got the little dots on the bottom of these dies, little peepholes. You should hopefully be able to line up the stalks at the bottom. I'll just line it up as it goes up. Put that on there. And this top bit. Line all that up. Just stick that down. Let's run that through the machine. There's one lavender bit. There's one stalky bit. Let's cut out this other lavender piece. They were a little close to each other, but I think we've got away with it. Let's take that off of there. that bit just there. We'll have a sort of variating colours on that lavender just there. Let's stick this together. I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow on there, and then we'll add some to the back of this top piece just here. Have that bursting out from the side. Like that. Back to that in a moment. Let's come to our sentiment set. I think we'll go with I Can't Thank You Enough. This one just here. And this one just here. We'll add that to our label. Oh, I think we need this one. Let's come in this time with some gorgeous crepe. Let's go a bit darker. Interesting to know if any of you already got this sweet and if you've been playing with it. And we were having a conversation yesterday, wondering if, obviously we have lavender here in the UK, and we were talking about various places on the continent. Obviously get French lavender, get English lavender. Is lavender a plant that is, you know, you get around the world? Do you find it in gardens the world over? And if so, was it brought out from Europe with people that emigrated, or is it naturally occurring? Is it a native plant elsewhere in the world? Perhaps it's not a native plant here. Perhaps we've imported it. I must admit, I've not done any investigation. On that. As if that needs something else. I think I'm going to do one of these little flowers. And let's perhaps go berry burst with these. Perhaps, shaded spruce. I'm going to go direct onto the stamp with this colour, because I do want, they're not colours that are going to blend very well if they're mixed up on ink pads. Not like taking a paler purple and adding another purple on the top. These are two very different colours. Let's add a bit of green in there. Some stems and leaves in there. And let's come in with some berry burst flowers here. Just having a look, make sure we've got all of that. Oh no, there's another flower in there. Not used this stamp before, so I'm wondering how much that's going to, how clearly that will stamp for this first time. Let's have a look. Let's give it a huff. A little bit on the blobby side. Sometimes you do need to condition your stamps a little bit to get a initially, because of what's been put on the stamps to help them to release from molds and things. I'm just going to take my blender pen and let's add a little bit of a wiggle out. Right, let's find our die that goes with that one. Just here. And let's die cut that. Yeah, that's better. And I think the other thing we might possibly need, let's just come back into our stamp set and find the little butterflies. Now I think I'm going to come in Orchid Oasis on our little butterflies. And I might even bring in a little bit of Pretty Peacock. Oh, didn't want to do that, did I? Let's see if there's enough ink on them, or if we need to start again. I think we need to start again. Well, that's annoying. We'll do that. We'll just change it and then I'll cover those bits up as well. Let's try not to repeat that, shall we? Let's come in with our pretty peacock. Let's give that a huff. Beautiful. Right, now we've got a die that will die cut those. Glad we hadn't already stuck those down. Just run those through. One and come on out. Two. That one did slip a little bit in. Die. Right, let's do some sticking and putting together and covering up of our butterfly blobs. Here, little butterfly, you sit there. Okay, so to start with, let me put a little bit of Tombow on the back of here. Let me line it up where I want it to be in my window. And let's place that on my card front. Give that a bit of a rub. Perfect. Right. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. I'm going to raise this one up. One that side and one that side, just to hold that up. Let's get rid of all these backs. Look at my fingers covered in ink. Right. Put that down. Let's get rid of that stray. Right, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to run a little bit of glue along that edge so that that is stuck to my lavender where I want it. I'm going to trim off those stems a little bit so I've got a bit more swing on that. I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of here. Out like that. They will come out from underneath there and sit about like that, but I haven't got dimensionals on this top bit, so they're going to rest on that top bit of that circle. I can't thank you enough. Now I have got some Orchid Oasis glittery ribbon here. This metallic ribbon is a very sort of thin ribbon, so it's not got a lot of bulk to it. So once you've tied a knot, that knot isn't very bulky. Do we want some of that on here? It would be rather pretty. We'll pick up the colour of our butterflies that we've used Orchid Oasis for. So let me find a glue dot. We'll see how we need to swing that round in a minute. Do need it to come round like this. And some mini dimensionals. Want my butterfly in here, and I'll have him stuck to the back so he's sort of almost behind those flowers. Little teeny weeny butterfly seems to have gone missing. If I find him in a minute, there he is. Let's just stick him on our flowers over there. And then let's bring out the purple fine shimmer dot. And let's go this paler colour, I think. I might have one there. And one there. And then perhaps a darker one coming up the top edge just here. We have that sort of pretty arrangement of flowers going on there. Cut a bit of basic white, please. 9.5 by 39. Go inside. And what shall we have? Let's take the lavender stamp and Highland Heather. And our gorgeous grape. Let's just put a bit of, dabble a little bit of gorgeous grape on here. Just to give it a bit of variation of colour. Let's just have that coming up in that bottom corner like that. And let's pop that. Inside. So there we have a thank you card using both the painted lavender stamps, using a bit of colouring direct to stamp to get that variation of colour, so it's not just all one colour. Really rather pretty. I will stand that here out the way for a minute. Let's gather up some of our bits and pieces. And I thought for another card I would take some watercolour. Oh, I've just rested on my rested something down on my mouse. Let's take some watercolour card. And let's take the Perennial postage labels. Let's clear the decks a bit, Helen. Trying to work around lots of bits and pieces that I've got surrounding me. Move the trimmer. Here they are. Right, so we've got some watercolour card. Who else makes such a mess when they're crafting? Now, I'm going to take this second largest postage die, and I'm going to cut myself a piece of Louis 100 watercolour paper. Crash bang wallop as my trimmer hits the floor. It behind me. Right, I'm going to spritz this watercolour card. And then I'm going to take, I'll take some Orchid Oasis ink. Just add in a little bit more water. I want that to be quite nice and wet. I'm just going to put a bit of a Orchid Oasis watery watercolour wash. I don't want it to be too dark. Just building up a bit of colour, not a dimensional back, but a bit of colour in that background. Right, my card is quite wet and I want it to stay quite wet really. I'm going to go with will that stem fit on this nice narrow block? Yes, I think it will. And let's bring in Pretty Peacock actually. Let's see how that goes. Right, I'm going to take this image just here. I'm going to take Orchid Oasis actually. My card is still wet, we're still quite sort of fuzzy. I'd actually bring in one just there that's a bit more second generation, and perhaps one. Oh, let's try that again. Just there, a bit more second generation. There's my stalk. Let me add in one there and one there. Right, I'm now going to come in with this sort of second layer just here. And I think we'll get some starry sky. Let's bring in the grassy bit for the bottom. And let's come in shaded spruce, I think. Going to add a bit warm, I think. I'm doing this all second generation. And some starry sky. A bit of a burst to dry it off a bit. Flip it over, just bend it back the other way if the card is lying. I'm actually going to take this and go over the top of our watery colour stem, just to give that a bit more definition in there. Let's have a look at our papers. Wondering why that's suddenly gone so dark. Why have you gone so dark? Is that just my... Oh, that's better. Don't know what just happened there, but I've suddenly got a very dark screen. I'll come in with that paper there, actually. Let's move some of these inks out of the way. Shut up some of these ink pads so we don't get ink everywhere. And I'm going to come in 10 centimetres by 14.4. That would be a 4 inches by 5 1/4. You were layering up on left size. Let's go Starry Sky cardstock. I'm going to cut the card in half, spin it round and score it in half. And then let's have a look. I'm going to go Here For You Always, I think. Which is that one just there. And that one just there. Now, the one thing that's in the kit that I haven't got is, I haven't currently got, they're on order, is in the suite, rather, not the kit, is the butterflies, which are these paper butterfly accents just here that obviously they just pop out paper butterflies that you can then add colour to. I'm using as they are, use them as masks, do all sorts of things with them. So I have got some of those on the way, but I haven't got any currently. So we can't add one of those to our project. We'll do. Let's find ourselves the perfect strip of Starry Sky cardstock. A very soggy mat underneath here. Let's just tip water over and make it even soggier. Excuse me while I just have a bustle in the background. Just tip the glass of water over. Let's just put something to mop that up. Mop up the heat gun, so hopefully that doesn't blow up. Of the water for a minute. Let's try once more with what we intended to do, which was to get my embossing buddy and some Versamark. Morning, Jackie. What sort of time is it for you there? We're just coming up towards midday here. This is where we're going to keep our fingers crossed. I haven't flooded my heat tool. You hear a sizzle and a pop. 7 AM, nice and early then. So far, so good. Not blown up yet. Right, so we have starry sky. We've got that sort of pretty peacock. We have our watercoloured mushy background and our heat embossed strip to go across the front. Let's find some glue. Let's pop down. I really love this paper. Let's wiggle that over a little bit. Let's put glue on the back of here. Obviously this has been watercoloured and all sorts of things, so they do tend to be a little bit bendy. Bring in a big block. Just give that a good press down. Let's take a trimmer and cut that to 10 centimetres so that it goes across here. About. Let's find some the in colour twine. Tuck that under there. Do you come? Thank you. Ooh, might have left myself not quite enough twine there to tie a bow. Let's almost twirl it round in a minute. Let's bring it down a little bit. And we tuck that in there. Yes, come on through. Left myself a twiddly job there, didn't I? There we go. Let's bring that up a bit. And fiddle with that a little bit. Like that, I think. And let's bring in our dimensionals. Pop the lid on my embossing powder before we have another disaster. It's bad enough that we've had a flood. Let's not add embossing powder into the mix. There we go. Chair is slowly sinking. Now, I think possibly they're going to be the wrong colours to be adding into here. come in with some of these gems just here. Got sort of like some pinks showing through as well, that will pick up on the purples quite nicely. So again, that's going to need a basic white insert to go in there. Have I got a bit of card big enough in my box just here? Let's have a look. So again, I'm going to cut this to 9.5 by 13.9 centimeters. The equivalent of that would be 5 inches by 3 3/4. I always tend to do the inserts a bit smaller, like that. What shall we have come on to here? Let's come in. Orchid Oasis. We'll bring this one down a bit shorter. Can I see my other stamp? Here it is. So we want some Starry Sky on that one. Tap, tap, tap. I'll just add a bit of Starry Sky on the top there. Move this all out the way and add this to the centre. So 2 very different cards. So that one is given that, we've given it that whoosh in the background because we wet our watercolour paper before we stamped it. And this one is sort of far more vintagey and pretty colours. So 2 very different looks using the same suite. So we've had fun with the perennial postage sentiments. We've had lots of fun with all the flowers and foliage and leaves and grasses in the painted lavender stamp set, and the coordinating dies for both. So a great, oh, and a little bit, and some of the paper as well. So it is a great suite. So I'm just trying to find my mouse in the flood zone. It's a bit wet too. So yeah, it's a really, really great suite, and one that I think everybody is going to want to add to their collection. Yeah, because it is just beautiful, and you can make so many lovely things with it, from sympathy cards right up to birthday cards, wedding cards, you know, the whole works. New home. I think this is one that you're going to be able to use for all occasions. Well, thank you for joining me. It has been lovely to have you with me on this Friday morning. I'm going to go off and get on with some more jobs now, coming up for towards lunchtime. So a bit of lunch might be in order. And I'll be back with you next week. So until then, take care, have a fabulous weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon.